If another famous writer, Robert Heinlein, he had a quote. He said, "You don't win wars by dying for your country. You win wars by making the other guy die for his country." And we don't want to be martyrs. We want to be winners. And that is the challenge we face today. There's no point in going on strike unless you've formed a union first. Just going on strike without the organization in advance is just self-inflicted martyrdom. Bitcoin is a union.
Michael Saylor, the most influential Bitcoiner, has yet again stated that Bitcoin is essential for financial independence. He has been making such remarks on many social media platforms for the past 2 years, but this time he has a fresh idea, which is that all governments, firms, and individuals need Bitcoin more than Bitcoin needs them. And if you want to hear his entire explanation about people accepting Bitcoin out of fear, make sure to watch the video all the way to the conclusion. Do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet.
What if we could create something which is truly a utilitarian, egalitarian, economically and philosophically empowering computer network created on the strength of the power of cryptography? And cryptography is a machine with a mechanical advantage. Instead of a Roman construction crane with 180 to 1 mechanical advantage that lets you move a one-ton block with your hands, we're talking about cryptography where it becomes billions or trillions of times harder to break the code than it is to create the code. It's a trillion to 1 advantage. It's a quadrillion to 1 advantage. If you can create a mechanical advantage in cyberspace, then you can create something which is going to transcend and beyond the reach of the collective. And you finally have a tool with which to fight back. Bitcoin is a shining city in cyberspace, and you can go there once you understand it. Bitcoin and objectivism, they have a common cause. Ayn Rand in 1959 said, "I'm for the separation of the state and economics, just as we had the separation of church and state." Whereas Hayek in 1984 said, "I don't believe we shall ever have good money again before we take the thing out of the hands of the government. That is, we can't take it violently out of the hands of government. All we can do is by some sly, roundabout way introduce something that they can't stop." Clearly, both movements are thinking about separating economics from the state and from the collective. The difference is, for thousands and thousands of years, the technology for doing that was imperfect. The technology of gold to separate the power from the state doesn't work when they just shoot you and take your gold. The technology of cows or tobacco or fiat currency or buildings, they don't work that well to separate economics from the state. So although this was an ideal and aspiration, we never had the technology to realize it. And we saw an escape from economic slavery in the form of what we thought was digital gold. But as I've explained, it turned out to be much more than digital gold. On September 18th, after fully adopting the Bitcoin standard and after talking to some more Bitcoiners, I had this epiphany. I went to Twitter and I posted the following: "Bitcoin is a swarm of cyber hornets, serving the goddess of wisdom, feeding on the fire of truth, exponentially growing ever, smarter, faster, and stronger, behind a wall of encrypted energy." And I think Ayn Rand would understand what I was saying. What it means is, for the first time in the human race, we have unleashed a freedom virus, a truth virus. We've unleashed a sovereignty virus, which is also a monetary virus. And as you know, and as Heinlein once said, the only way to fight a virus is with another virus. You can't take it head on. Bitcoin is something special. Galt's Gulch is the Bitcoin network. Rather than removing your labor from a corrupt economy, you should remove your money from a corrupt economy. Bitcoin's a protocol to create free ideas, free economies, and free assets beyond the control of corrupt institutions. It's a fast, fair, and equitable method to settle the differences of 8 billion people. We say in the Bitcoin world, fix the money, fix the world. Success. We want to succeed? This is the end of my speech. We could talk about the struggle and the human misery, and we could talk about the reasons why and what people think about it, but ultimately, it doesn't really much matter. I don't want to be a martyr. I don't want us to die for our country. I want us to be the winners. Success requires courage, clarity, and commitment. Look, there's 20,000 cryptos. There's one that's 95% dominant, which is ethically sound, technically sound, economically sound. Bitcoin is reared in metal. It's the hardest substance in the universe. Most people don't know it. Most people are afraid of it. Never done that before. When we bought Bitcoin, we bought 250 million. No public company had ever bought any. People thought we were crazy. So then we bought another 175 million. People thought we were crazy. Then we bought 600 million more. People said, you can't stand on it. It'll destroy you. It's like standing on a bridge made of steel. And I concluded, it's the perfect engineered material to solve our problem, but people are living in fear. And how are we going to get them to not be fearful? And I was reminded of Andrew Carnegie's example. It's like build the bridge, go stand out in the middle of the bridge. You build an airplane, fly the airplane. Show people that it's not going to break. That's what Microstrategy did. We said, well, if it's good for 100 million, it's good for $1 billion. If it's good for $1 billion, we might as well go for 4 billion. Right? And at some point, people will realize that they have more to fear by not embracing this technology than by embracing it. Right now, it's a $400 billion asset. There are $400 trillion of other assets floating around in our current fiat system. They're leaking energy, they're corrupt, they're inefficient, they're controlled by the collective. Bitcoin is 0.1% of the human race's liquid energy. 99.9% of the world doesn't get it. They're not there. That 99.9% haven't moved to Gulch. That means you're still early. So you can plug in yourself, your company, your organization, your agency, your product, your service, your family, or your ideology. I said to you at the beginning of the talk, Bitcoin's a union. The union gets more powerful as more people join. And in the war for the future of money, it's going to be won with money. As the money moves into the network, the monetary union gets more powerful. Everybody that joins the network has that much more power. And your only hope against the oppressive force of the collective is to unionize your own activities and organize your activities with people of like ideology that believe as you believe. More money, more people, more power. So in closing, Bitcoin is an economic machine based on a truth machine poised to emerge as a freedom machine. It's the best choice we have to save our civilization and realize the ideal world envisioned by Ayn Rand and the objectivist movement. Join us.